Civil 3D includes settings that are specific to an individual command when creating objects. To access these command settings and make changes, in the Toolspace Settings tab, right-click the bolded drawing name and select Edit Drawing Settings. The Drawing Settings dialog box appears. On the Ambient Settings tab, look at the property named Distance of this drawing. Expand Distance. Here you will find the control for the precision and units of the distance property. You can see that the property of units and precision are set to 4, and the child override is enabled. This means that somewhere in this drawing, a feature or command was set differently from the default property setting of the distance precision setting. Click Cancel to close the Drawing Settings dialog box. Again, in the Settings tab of the Toolspace, expand Surface, and then right-click the feature name, Surface, and select Edit Feature Settings. The Edit Feature Settings dialog box appears. Here you have some very similar settings to the Drawing Settings dialog box. Under the Distance property, you can set the properties of Units and Precision to 2. If you change any of these values, only the objects and commands under the Surface features will be affected. Since these values are different than those set in the Drawing Settings dialog, when you access the Drawing Settings Ambient tab, again you can see that the child override icon is now active for distance and precision. In addition to controlling the properties of distance and area, in the feature settings are settings for default styles where you can choose the default style used when creating a surface, as well as the default marker styles, spot elevation label style, surface slope label style, and render material. You can also choose contour labeling defaults and surface defaults for the rebuild automatic variable. These settings are all specific to surfaces and share the same surface icon. Change the default surface style from standard to e.g. 1 foot and 5 foot. Also change the default automatic rebuild to yes. Click Apply and then click OK. Now to see these settings in action, on the ribbon, Home tab, Create Ground Data, Surfaces, select Create Surface. The Create Surface dialog box opens. Here you can see that the style is preset to e.g. 1 foot and 5 foot, just as you set it in the Edit Features dialog box for surfaces. In the Create Surface dialog box, there are a number of options that can preset. All of these defaults can be set in 3 different places. The Edit Drawing Settings dialog, here in the Create Surface dialog, and in the Settings tab, Surface Collection, Commands, Create Surface Command. Click Cancel to close the dialog box. To set the layer the surface object initially is inserted on that you saw in the Create Surface dialog box, on the Settings tab of the Toolspace, scroll to the top. Right-click the bolded drawing name and choose Edit Drawing Settings. On the Object Layers tab is a list of all the Civil 3D objects in this drawing. Scroll down to the bottom and find the tin surface. You can select a different layer to initially place this surface object on, or you can use the base layer, which is C-TOPO, and add a modifier to it. To do so, expand the modifier dropdown and select Suffix or Prefix. Then enter a dash asterisk or asterisk dash in the value box next to it. Now, every surface you make will be placed on its own unique layer. The asterisk is a wildcard that picks up the name of the object and places it after the base layer, so when you select OK back in the Create Surface dialog box, the layer C-TOPO- your surface name is created. Click Apply and OK in the Edit Drawing Settings dialog box. Next, on the ribbon, Home tab, Create Ground Data, Surfaces, select Create Surface. Click in the Name type box and enter EG. Once you click outside of the Name type box, the surface layer box value updates automatically to what you preset in the Edit Drawing Settings dialog box. Click Cancel to close the dialog box. Now go back to the Settings tab of the Toolspace and expand the Surface collection. Then expand the Commands collection. The Commands collection allows you to preset which dialog boxes display what styles or items for specific commands. For example, scroll down the commands list, right-click Create Surface, and then select the Edit Command Settings option. The Edit Command Settings dialog box appears. Again, like the Edit Features dialog box, you have all the basic features that are controllable for surfaces, and they're designated by the surface icon. Any feature that is not a surface icon, but just a paper icon, is controlled in the Edit Drawing Settings dialog box. Features that are specific to command control only have the box with green checkmarks icon. In this box, those surface collection controlled items are surface creation and build options properties. Just like in the Edit Features dialog box, if you change any property here that is not specific to a command, but is an overall command, they will show up as a child override in the tree. Expand the surface creation property. Change the surface name template by clicking once in the value box, then clicking on the ellipsis button that appears. This opens the Name Template dialog box. Change the word Surface in the name box to tin. Click OK. Back in the Edit Command Settings, click Apply, and then OK. Now you need to see what this may have changed. On the ribbon, Home tab, Create Ground Data, Surfaces, select Create Surface. In the Create Surface dialog box, the name value no longer starts with Surface, but with tin. So any changes you make under a command will affect the dialog boxes when you access a command to create or modify an object based on what command you change. Click Cancel to close the dialog box. The farther you go down in the settings tree from the drawing name to the feature object and then to the individual object, the commands become more and more specific, depending on the settings that you configure. This applies not only to surfaces, but to all the other Civil 3D objects as well, such as points, alignments, and profiles.